Good day everyone, I'm Hurley Borafy Reviews here, back at it again with my review for the Rose Celsa Distant Mountain, or in Japanese it is Harukana Yama. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that pronunciation, but yep, it is the Distant Mountain, and I'll call this on-ear headphone a Distant Mountain throughout this video, okay? Okay, but before I proceed, I'd like to thank Rose Celsa for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this video extensively, since I prefer writing my videos rather than recording it. So there's that. Okay, this will serve as the more unfiltered version of my written review, but my written reviews are already unfiltered most of the time to begin with. So yeah, this is like for a good measure. Okay. So Rose Elsa, or formerly known as Rose Techniques, has been a very interesting, and in my opinion, and a very unique and a good company as a brand itself, because most of their products are a bit niche or a bit unique. I'd call them even a boutique company, if you may, but not in a bad way. Actually, I do like their identity as a company, since they tend not to release products that are from time to time, or products regularly. They release usually, or slash most of the time, products that are hit and then disappear for a few months and then release another product again. So in my opinion, I prefer it that way, since they can focus more on their product quality and on the overall sound of the products that they produce, which also translates here in the Harukayama, since the Harukana Yama, or the Distant Mountain. The Distant Mountain is inspired by a retro on-ear headphones, those headphones that are usually bundled with Walkmans and Discmans before, but they gave it a more decent or a more modern take to it, so I can call this a modern retro, or a vintage retro, if you may, just from its looks and even on its sound, actually, which I will discuss later on. So okay, let's proceed for the box first. The box on this one is quite, yes, it is very classy. As you can see, the Distant Mountain speaks on that, and the Harukana Yama speaks on that. Though I would prefer, since they are marketing this as a Distant Mountain, they could have put the name here, the Distant Mountain here, and the Harukana Yama here, because on first glance, upon receiving, I did not read, or I can't find the Distant Mountain naming by the time that I unboxed this one. So for less confusion, they could have put it here in the white portion of the box. As you can see, it is very classy. It is very classic in the box. The box is really elegant. The presentation is elegant in my opinion, as you can see, even in this one. See, the Harukana Yama. It is very classic in my opinion. There we go. And here are the features. As you can see, it's coaxial CNC machine cavity. It speaks, yes, stainless steel head beam, on-ear design, 40mm dynamic diaphragm driver, which is quite common on on-ear headphones in my opinion. Composite topological diaphragm, genuine lambskin, sponge pads. And yes, this one is detachable. The cable is detachable, and this one, it is in MMCX cable. And it has two colors as well, as you can see. You can have it in black colorway or brown colorway. I prefer it brown because it adds a bit of retro vibes to it. So there's that, and that is the inclusion in the box. As you can see, the Distant Mountain, the headphone cable, yes, the earpads, the user manual, and yes, it also has a cartoon stand, which in my opinion doesn't really help a lot in maintaining the or slash storing the on-ear headphones on desk, because the cartoon stand is a bit small for it to be supported all the way. Okay, you can also buy this, as far as I know, with a USB dongle, which is already grayed out here because this version does not have it. Okay, so upon opening the box, it is in magnetic box, as you can see. And yes, see this the presentation is really cool on this one. By the way, this is priced around under $100 as far as I remember, but I'll put a non-affiliated link in the description below. So you can see it is very, very interesting and very it speaks class for its price based on the price that you're getting for. Here lies the accessories like the manual. You don't really need the manual in this one, and the stand, the cartoon stand, which I'll flash it somewhere here in this video because I did not find it helpful in terms of storing the distant mountain, because again it is too small to my liking. And here are the earpads. Yes, I'll flash also the picture of the earpads here as well. The earpads that they included are in full slash closed earpads, and the open donut slash semi-open earpads, which I'll discuss later on. And here lies the headphones itself. As you can see, it's just a sketch of the distant mountain there. Okay, so yeah, as for the presentation and the overall quality of presentation, I can't say anything bad actually in the Rosel's distant mountain. Okay, so here's what you'll get. Basically, it isn't really much, but I'd understand for this price. When you purchase the Roselsa Distant Mountain, you'll get the headphones themselves and the cable itself. If I were to nitpick, they could have included a pouch for this one to added longevity, or probably a case if they can. But yeah, here we are. Here's what we are given with. And again, they included also a donut earpads on this one, and the stand that doesn't help really that much. And as you can see, here is the cable. The cable itself is okay. It is serviceable. I do like that it is light for this one, because I really don't like thick cables to begin with, because it kind of what do you call this? It kind of distracts me to the overall listening experience, or the things that I do, such as commutes, probably writing reviews, because it adds weight to my ear. Okay, and yes, it is sleeve. I do have a love and hate relationship when it comes to sleeve cables. I personally do not like them, but at the same time, they aren't really bad in general either. It is more of a personal preference to me, so please do take that in mind. And yes, it also has a cable here as well, which is decent in quality, and when it comes to clarity, it does the job well. But then again, you can always like replace the cable in this one, because again, this is a detachable MMCX cable, which is a good thing on this one, because MMCX cables on these types of transducers, particularly this headphones, yes, headphones in general, if you're using an MMCX cable, it is better since it adds a bit of security to the connection. Okay, okay. And here is the Roselsa Distant Mountain itself in its glory. As you can see, it is really, really exquisite in terms of its SRP. It is probably one of the best, because there isn't really a lot of on-ear headphones that exist within this price point, under $100. But Roselsa really did a good job, or a very excellent job, on presenting and creating the Distant Mountain. It really speaks premium, from its leather covered headband down to the adjustable, what do you call this, the adjustable, see, the adjustable ear cups, or sorry, the ear drivers itself. It is really nice. It speaks really really premium. And yes, all of these are metal. Yeah, it is metal. As you can see, it even has the logo on it. It is very subtle actually. As you can see, it really speaks premium. It also has these holes, making it a semi on ear headphones, if you may. Yeah, so it really speaks premium. It is better in build quality when compared to the likes of like COS KSC75, maybe even KPH 40i, KPH 30i, definitely the Porta Pro. Actually, it is miles better. The build quality is miles better on the Distant Mountain. But yeah, this isn't really a perfect on-ear headphones in my opinion. If I were to really nitpick, I find that they included earpads on this one is quite thin to my liking, since the clamping force of the distant mountain is already on the secure-ish, yes, the secure-ish side. This earpads that they included kind of makes the overall fit and comfort a bit tight to most people, including me at first. But yeah, I kind of use this daily and I don't really feel that tightness on clamping force at all, actually. But yeah, I'd still want to give a heads up for those people that are using the distant mountain, or for the very first time, that they will find it a bit more tight in terms of clamping force. Not to mention that the included earpads as well, again, is thin and will definitely affect the overall sound of the distant mountain, in my opinion, which I will discuss later on. The included donut earpads didn't help as well. It kind of made the sound a bit more different when compared to the what do you call this full on earpads. So I recommend changing the earpads on the distant mountain. Probably you've heard the Yaxi pads that can be used with the COS Porta Pros or the COS products. You can also use this here in the distant mountain. It will definitely affect the sound signature positively in theory, but I haven't tried it personally since my replacement pads are along the way. You can also use a Venture Electronics earpads on this one if you want a cheaper option, since mine is along the way. So yeah, in theory it will definitely affect the sound in a very positive manner. So there's that. Now, as for the drivability, I had no problems actually driving the Roselle sa distant mountain properly. In fact, I find it a bit easy to drive actually, even pairing it with my most not powerful USB DACs lying here. I had no problems with it actually. It is very, very easy to drive, which gives it a bit of versatility when it comes to pairing, because you won't be needing an exquisite or a very powerful DAC on this one. You'll just need, probably in theory, an Apple dongle, or like what I do, I use the Hi-Fi TC35M2 on this one, and it still sounds great for on that regard. So in terms of drivability, you won't have any problems with this one. Mm-mm. Um, but my recommendation, I prefer it to be paired with the 2VRM's warm sounding dongle. Okay? Again, my apologies if you're hearing a raining, if you're hearing rain in the background, because currently it is raining here in our country. Okay? So there's that. Okay. Now, as for the sound quality, this is the part where I'll say that the Rosells kind of nailed the vintage, yes, the vintage character, the vintage feel that the most vintage on-ear headphones sound before. They kind of inherited that one and put it here in the distant mountain as well. So the sound is quite vintage. Yes, it is quite vintage in presentation, but at the same time, they kind of tweaked it a bit in order for it to have a very modern, or it can keep up with the very modern genres. Okay? Okay. Okay. Now, as for the sound quality, the Roselsa Distant Mountain is a very, very mid-forward. Yes, it is a mid-forward, warm-ish sounding on-ear headphones that has a, what do you call this? That has a slight, yeah, it has a slight bias to the warmish type of sound. When I first heard it on someone else's unit, yes, I heard the Roselsa Distant Mountain way before on a convention. It sounded kind of bright to my ears. I'm not sure if Roselsa kind of changed the sound or tweaked the sound in order for it to be a bit more versatile than what it is compared to before, but I can assure you that they quite improve the sound of the Roselsa Distant Mountain in my unit at least, because this one is definitely a warmish mid-centric type of sound, so it gives that modern retro vibes. It's just that it isn't that analog. If you're looking for an analog type of sound or a vintage type of sound that is fully vintage or full on bang on vintage, the Roselsa Distant Mountain isn't that one, but it does inherit some types of qualities that you'll find most on vintage earphones or vintage headphones, such as the mid-forward sound, vocal-centric sound, with the laid-back warmish type of bass. So you'll kind of find it here with the Roselsa Distant Mountain as well. Okay, now as for the bass is there. Yes, definitely it is punchy. It is a bit thick. Yes, I am quite surprised that it is quite thick in bass body or bass depth. Yes, with a good amount of texture, or a good amount of detail for its price. So but again, if you're a bass heads on a budget, if you're looking for that kind of bass, you may not want the bass that the Distant Mountain has. Again, it is, yes, it is chunky bass. It exhibits chunky bass for most people. But then again, if you're a bass heads at heart, you may want to look elsewhere. Probably look for that Porta Pro if you want to. But there's that. Okay? Now, as for the mids, yes, the mids is definitely the star of the show. It is mid forward. It is forward actually. Very forward, but it still has that thickness to it. It still has that body to it. I don't experience any form of thinness or any brittleness to the sound of this one in this region. Lower mid still sounds a bit thick, and yes, it is warm as well. It doesn't have any problems rendering Ed Sheeran's or Post Malone or probably Sam Smith's voice. It did not have any problems on that one. Now, as for the mids, this is the part where I kind of give caution to those people that are very sensitive to boosted upper frequencies, because the mids on this one, the upper mid specifically, is a bit too forward up to the point that it may sound shouty, especially when you use it for the first 5 hours of your existence. Yeah, it is quite shouty. It is forward, very forward, if you may, up to the point that again, it may come across as fatiguing to those people that are very sensitive to boosted upper frequencies, which also at the same time is quite interesting to me, since usually when you do a mid-forward sounding IEMs, the soundstage tends to suffer. But this one, the soundstage in this one did not suffer at all. More into that later. But then again, yeah, the upper mids on this one are probably will be too forward for those people that are very sensitive to upper frequencies that may find it really shouty. Yes, I'd like to give a heads up or a caution on that one, despite me not really finding it that shouty at all, since I am used to mid-forward sounding sets, since those are my favorite ever since I was a newbie 10 years ago. So there's that. Okay? Now, as for the treble is also present as well. It is borderline bright, but not as present and as forward when compared to the mids of the Distant Mountain. So it has a decent treble extension. It also has a decent detail retrieval as well, and a decent air. All of those are quite expected for this asking price. So there's nothing to write home about, but yeah, there's nothing bad about it either. So you're literally getting what you are paying for with here with the Distant Mountain. Okay, there's no hyperbolic bang for the buck. There's no hyperbolic killer or something like that. I do hate using those terms. So okay. Okay. Now, as for the technical performance, as what I expect with the semi-open on-ear headphones, the Roselsa Distant Mountain has a very grandeur soundstage. It is definitely wide soundstage, which is quite understandable since, again, this is a semi-open. Yes, this is a semi-open type of headphone. So, again, it is expected for it to be like that. It is wider than taller, but it does have a good amount of height and depth as well. Separation and layering is definitely decent. Yes, for its price, I say that it is still within, it still performs within its price. I don't see anything like severely bad or underwhelming about it. And yes, there will be at times that it may sound a little bit congested on very, very busy tracks. Like for example, Koshinwe's Asphyxia. Yan. That's the example that I can think of, since that is mostly what I listen when I am looking for a busy passage. Okay? Imaging is average on this one. It is very incisive. I do not have any problems with this one. Whether I'd be using it for podcasts, for music, for games, for movies, I had no problems with this one. Okay? Okay. Now, I'd like to compare this with the yes, the COS Porta Pro, because that is the only contender that I could think of that currently exists under $100 in terms of on-ear headphones, and the KPH-40i, but they are nearly the same actually. It's just that the what do you call this? The KPH-40i is less dark as far as I remember. Okay, but the Porta Pro, I really remember it a lot because that is my first experience when it comes to proper on-ear headphones, to be exact. Okay, so as for the COS Porta Pro, the COS Porta Pro is a more laid back. It is definitely thicker, it is definitely balanced, it is bassy, and it is dark sounding in terms of its overall sound. While the Distant Mountain is quite the opposite of that. Actually, they kinda prove that this is literally a distant mountain in terms of sound, because the sound on this one, again, the mids are definitely forward, very forward, making it, if you visualize it, the whole sound is just like a mountain, literally. So both sets are definitely the opposite to each other. It's just that it matters. It all boils down to your preference, actually. If you prefer a warmer, more laid back sounding headphones that is non-fatiguing and will definitely be non-fatiguing most of the time, then the COS Porta Pro might be for you. Otherwise, if you look for a more detailed, for a more open sound, with a better build quality, yes, and a removable cable without any modifications, of course, and you're willing to shell out a bit more, since the COS Porta Pro is around $50 as far as I remember, while this one is around $100. The Rosel sa Distant Mountain will be for you. Personally, I prefer the Rosel sa Distant Mountain, but it is more of a preference thing than more of an objective, because the Rosel sa Distant Mountain will not be for everyone, of course, because of its sound, because of its open/revealing sound character. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so I'll switch now to the Tagalog version of my review for me to give a quick summary of the Distant Mountain. Okay, si Rosel sa Distant Mountain is definitely a COS Porta Pro competitor, pero at the same time hindi in terms of sound. Kasi yung sound neto is definitely iba compared sa Porta Pro, kasi yung Porta Pro is warm bassy siya na up to the point na pwede mong sabihin na dark sounding din, which yun din yung dark sounding siya for me. But at the same time, ayun nga, mas marami siyang ipiplease na tao when it comes sa sound. So, wala silang magiging sakit sa ulo doon, aside siguro sa build quality and sa cable din, since non-removable yung cable nun, and gawa yun mostly sa plastic, while itong si Distant Mountain is gawa sa bakal. As you can see, may exquisite na ewan ko kung faux leather to, pero sabi nila lambskin daw. Itong sa headband, may little bit ng cushioning dito. So ayun, medyo bakal siya, premium na premium talaga. But at the same time, yung clamping force niya is medyo mas stiff and medyo mas tight when compared sa Porta Pro sa una. Pero the more na ginagamit mo to, siguro yung tenga ko, yung ulo ko, or probably ito mismo, yung nakakapag-adjust dun sa clamping force itself. Kaya hindi ko na siya nafa-find na parang sobrang higpit or sobrang sikip ng ng clamping force nito. So overall, if hindi ka naman sensitive sa shouty na mids, or gusto mo ng mid-centric na tunog na may warmth pa rin naman, yung itong Rosel sa Distant Mountain is probably my top recommendation currently ngayon, since wala naman nga nung on-ear headphones under 5,000 pesos or 6,000 pesos eh. Actually, Porta Pro, and ito pa nga lang yung audition ko na proper, yes, emphasis sa proper on-ear headphones. Ang may recommend ko lang, if gusto mong talaga tong distant mountain, magpalit ka ng pads, kasi yung pads nila nagdi-deteriorate na agad and medyo manipis lang siya. Yung on-ear, yung donut earpads, hindi rin nakatulong, mas naging shouty lang lalo yung tunog nun actually, and ayun, nagdi-disintegrate din yung kulay niya through pawis ata ito. Tingnan nyo, as you can see, medyo may grayish tint na siya. So ayun, yun lang naman yung nitpick ko actually. Okay, switch na ako ulit sa English language for my verdict. Okay, so what's my verdict with the Roselle sa Distant Mountain? Actually, I really enjoy using this daily. Yes, despite all of the nitpicks, despite all of its quirks, I honestly enjoy using the Roselle sa Distant Mountain daily. I use it during commutes, I use it during my long listening sessions, I use it during my work, I use it pretty much everywhere. Yes, up to the point that, as you can see, my earbuds are, yeah, it already disintegrated in color, and my replacement pads will come soon. But for the most part, it is quite enjoyable since there isn't a lot of products that look like this one or sound like this one. Roselsa did really an excellent job actually implementing or executing the Roselsa Distant Mountain, because it is a very very retro, modern-ish type of on-ear headphones, both in its sound quality and in its build and overall look. So I'd like to commend Roselsa on being very unique, or exhibiting its character among all of the other brands I've tried, because most of the brands I've tried are aiming for the best of the best, for the clinical of the clinical type of sound, while this one, it has a bit of character to it, which I really like. It stands out a bit to me, not only because there isn't really a lot of headphones or on-ear headphones within this price point, but also of its sound. Mid-centric sounding sets are quite rare in this price point as well. So again, if you're looking for a mid-centric set that and you are not very sensitive to extra upper frequencies, the Roselsa Distant Mountain can be for you. Okay, and that ends my review for the Roselsa Distant Mountain. Again, I'd like to thank Roselsa for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively. I will be keeping this as is as possible, as unfiltered as possible. Okay? Okay. Now, as for backlogs, I still have a lot of backlogs. The snow ski products are on the way. What do you call this? The Fail Tulip review is definitely the next one, and the DD Hi-Fi dongle is definitely the next one, and also my personal unit, the Sonic Memory SA500 review is on the works. So it will be a very very busy backlog. Okay, and see you on the next one. Sa pa?